Welcome to April's current conversation with the Community Engagement and Public Information team. Thank you for joining us as we embark on topics that make Gloucester the land of the life worth living. I'm Solveig, and today we're going to be talking all about sustainability practices and going green in Gloucester. April brings one of my favorite holidays, Earth Day, and we would like to challenge you to think and act green for the month of April. I am joined today by two guests that will provide ideas and easy tips of how to help you and your family make more earth-friendly choices. First, I'm joined with Elisabeth Wilkins, Gloucester County's very own Clean Community Coordinator.
Hi, I am the Gloucester Clean Community Coordinator, and my job is to help Gloucester residents keep Gloucester clean and green. So I help sponsor cleanups, green ups. I get people materials for doing their own cleanups, roadsides and in parks. And the best part of my job, I think, is when I get to go into schools to talk to our Gloucester students about recycling and keeping our environment safe and green. That's a lot of fun.
Awesome, we're so happy to have you. Can you tell us a little bit more about why it is so important for our community to try to go green and focus on sustainability practices?
It just makes more sense. It makes more sense to reuse the items that we have harvested from the earth rather than to keep going back in and mining more aluminum or taking down more trees. If you have taken those resources from the earth, it makes more sense to just reuse them over and over. And it's also more economically feasible. It's cheaper to recycle than to keep harvesting things.
Makes a lot of sense. So Elisabeth, what about for all the people that haven't recycled their entire life or don't really know why it's important to start recycling? Can you explain a little bit about why recycling matters for everybody?
Oh, sure. Okay, well, recycling, first off, saves energy. Making products from raw materials consumes a lot of non-renewable energy. Companies that use recycled aluminum, for example, they save up to 95% during the production of aluminum products when compared to companies that use raw aluminum. Making goods from recycled materials uses less fuel, less water, and creates less pollution. When you send trash to the landfill, it just sits there and decomposes over time, and it releases methane gas, which is air pollution to us. So recycling helps reduce air pollution because instead of landfilling and releasing methane gas, you're just reusing the items that you would have trashed. If you purchase recycled products, that increases the demand for more recycled products. So that's going to end up minimizing more waste and also creating more jobs. More recycling plants means more jobs, and actually recycling statistically creates 10 times more employment opportunities than just landfilling our trash. So recycling is important not just for saving the earth, but also for saving our economy.
That's really great information. So as a regular person, how do I start getting involved? How can anybody start thinking about going green in their own life and recycling in Gloucester?
We're trying to get back to the basics, which is reminding Hampton Road residents to recycle right. Often people want to throw things in the recycling bin because they want it to be recyclable, but all that does is clog the machinery and slow down the process and cost us money. The best thing for people to do is pay attention to what can actually be recycled in Gloucester, which is paper and cardboard, plastic bottles with a neck or spout, and metal cans. And that's literally it. That's all we can recycle in Gloucester right now. And there are so many reasons for this, and I can get into that in more detail if people want to email me or come to one of my community talks. But as long as we keep the recycling to just paper and cardboard, plastic bottles with a neck and spout, and metal cans, that will go a long way to helping keep our landfill free of things that can be reused, and also keeping our recycling stream clear so that it can be sold to processors to be reused. I know everybody probably wants to recycle their yogurt containers, but they're not recyclable in Gloucester at this time. Everybody wants to be able to recycle their glass bottles, but we can't take it in Gloucester at this time. So if you just shop for things that are recyclable, like packaging, like eggs that are packaged in a paper or cardboard container rather than in styrofoam, which is not recyclable. It starts with choosing the right thing in the store and then recycling the right things at the convenience center.
That's some great information. I think it's really important to remember that the choices that you're making in the store impact what you can recycle and how you can choose to be a little bit more green in your daily life. Now that we know a little bit more about what it looks like to be recycle minded and make those recycling minded choices in Gloucester, are there any upcoming events in April that residents could participate in?
Yes, actually, the household harmful waste collection will be on April 17th from 9 to 3. That's at the Hayes Convenience Center, which is on Guinea Road. That's important because we collect items for free that normally residents would have to pay a fine to dispose of. So that's things like automobile hazardous waste like antifreeze, transmission fluids, gasoline, gardening supplies like herbicides, paints, wood preservatives, all these things that you know you're really not supposed to put in your regular trash and you've been holding on to for the right way to dispose it. That's where you bring them. And that's when April 17th from 9 to 3 at the Hayes Convenience Center.
What am I supposed to do with my batteries?
Well, it depends on the kind of batteries. If it's just regular, normal household batteries, you can just put them in the trash. They're safe.
Okay.
They used to not be safe, but now they are.
I had a jar of batteries sitting there and I was like, I think I can put these in the trash. I don't know. I'll just ask Elisabeth when I talk to her.
Yeah, you can. But if you're talking about something like tool batteries, like lithium ion, I think that's what they're called. Those special batteries that go into like rechargeable drills and things like that. Those you can bring to Home Depot or Lowe's, and they have a recycling program there. And yeah, boat batteries and car batteries go obviously to the household harmful waste collection because that's, Lowe's doesn't want to have those acid batteries laying around.
That makes sense. What would you say your top tips are for people to start practicing in April?
My top 3 tips would be, I would say, think about what you're buying in the store. Often we just buy things because we're used to buying things and they're convenient. But think about maybe instead of buying those little juice boxes for the kids, maybe buy a large container of juice and dole it out into reusable containers instead of buying all those containers that are just being tossed in the trash every day. You're tossing a drink container in the trash, and that doesn't make sense when you can just reuse the same one every day and use fewer resources. The second tip would be recycle right. Think about what you're sending to the convenience center recycling bin. Is it clean and dry? And is it paper, cardboard, plastic bottle with a neck or spout, and metal cans? If it is, that's great. If you're throwing anything else in that bin, please stop. Things like that will slow down production, might cause that whole batch of recycling to be put in the landfill just because it's cheaper to do it that way. So contaminating the recycling is a big no-no. And my third tip would be give my office a call and or an email, and I'd love to get you set up with a cleanup kit. And you can get out there and help us pick up litter along with the other volunteers in Gloucester.
Makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much for joining us today, Elisabeth, and for sharing with us how to stay smart and recycle right. Gloucester County Clean Community also has a Facebook page where Elisabeth posts additional tips, activities, and information on how every resident can help make Gloucester clean and green. Be sure to give that page a follow. Next up, we have Alexis from the Nurtury. The Nurtury is a modern apothecary located on Main Street that focuses on healing and well-being. They are also very sustainability minded. Welcome, Alexis.
Hi, thank you so much for letting me be here. I really look forward to our time together.
Alexis, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and why sustainability practices are important to you?
Well, sustainability practices aren't so much of a choice for me as a natural way of life. Growing up, my mom, who's part Native American, taught us that to live in harmony with the earth isn't a responsibility, it's actually a privilege and part of this epic adventure we call being humankind. From that base, I began the journey of my own education and discovery. And eventually, from there, I moved on to advocacy to help show this way of life to others. I've always shared the information I've gathered, and I'm actually really excited about how we can all help reduce the world waste.
Absolutely. That sounds like a great way to be introduced to this topic. I was hoping today we could start by talking about trash. Household trash production is something that everyone plays a part in. Why is it important to make mindful choices and to reduce household waste so that less goes into the landfill?
Well, honestly, landfills are a perfectly good waste of land and space. They also cost a great deal of money to maintain and do nothing to help lessen the environmental impact we as humans are creating on this planet. So, if you make mindful and long term decisions when you're making your purchases, then trash doesn't get generated to begin with. So, for example, if you buy a particular brand of yogurt that comes in a number 5 plastic, here in Gloucester, those aren't recyclable. So, what you need to do is to check the other brands' packaging to see if they have like recyclable containers, or you can talk to the manufacturers and get them to make either biodegradable or recyclable packaging. Because ultimately, for every dollar you spend, you're supporting the habits, the packaging, and the business model that the businesses use to get their money. So, really look into the products you're buying and think long term. Where will it go after I'm done with it? Can I reuse it for something else? How long will this product or its waste outlive me? I mean, it's a rough question to ask for sure, but it's very eye opening. That being said, there's a super easy way every household can reduce world waste by 46%. Composting. That's right, you heard me. 46% of the world waste, almost half of the garbage we generate, is organic in nature. This means it can be composted and returned to the earth in a matter of weeks rather than being thrown in a landfill to rot. Having studied the garbage removal system, it is my theory that if the garbage companies were not so overburdened by the literal tons of garbage being filled every day, then with their reduction of load, they will be able to sort and therefore recycle more efficiently. We all need to reduce our waste and find creative ways of dealing with the stuff that already exists.
Absolutely. Those are some really, really great points. I think sometimes for people, this process can be a little scary to start. And you're so well versed in it. So, if someone was interested in increasing their efforts to reduce the amount of waste their household produce, what are some first steps they could take other than maybe looking into what kind of materials the items they are buying are made out of?
Absolutely. Small steps are absolutely crucial to making good progress and keeping up with healthy habits. So that being said, starting a compost pile or having making like a composter is fabulous for a first step because branches, leaves, old food, even paper products like toilet paper and tissues can be ground down and turned into delightfully rich, loamy earth for gardening and general earth wellness. Your second step would be to start really looking at your trash. Just taking stock of how much is generated and what kind you have on a regular basis can be enough to change old habits. So, talk to the companies that make your favorite products and see if they'll change the packaging. Or you can invest in some time and look up innovative solutions like TerraCycle's Loop program. They actually send you the products you love in reusable containers. You just use them at your own leisure, toss them back into the bag they came in, and send it back where there's zero waste generated. I mean, there's literally hundreds of websites out there, all with great information about recycling and reducing your waste. So, World Wildlife Organization, Precious Plastics, TerraCycle, Kiss the Ground, or just Google statistics on world waste and see where you can help most. It doesn't really matter which one you choose, just do your research and take action in your own way.
Absolutely. I personally use TerraCycle and it's super easy. You just sign up for the program and then they send you a shipping label and you can ship back whatever program you're signed up for. So it's really, really easy and really helpful and a way to still use your favorite products, even if they aren't made in those reusable or traditionally recyclable materials.
Exactly.
So Alexis, as part of this podcast, we're asking Gloucester residents to spend some time over this month to increase their green habits. If it was a perfect world and everybody started this right now, what would you like to see people focus their efforts on first or put the most effort into?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think if you do your own research and you find a program that does what you want it to, and then you actually participate in it on a regular basis, that's the thing that'll elicit the best change. So maybe for you, that's installing a composter in your backyard. Maybe that means writing to Mars that you want candy bars in decomposable packaging. Or maybe it means shopping with reusable bags or refusing plastic at all. For me, that was investing in some bamboo travel utensils so I don't have to keep using plasticware when I go out to eat. For others, it'll be posting on social media about the creative uses for everyday waste things or spreading the word about the truth about trash. But the biggest message I want to get out there is it's not about what's the right step to take first, because any step towards environmentalism and a harmonious lifestyle is going to be the crucial bit here. One step every day. That's how real progress is going to be made.
Absolutely. So small, consistent steps is what we're encouraging people to do.
Exactly. Small, achievable goals.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Alexis, for joining us today. You are a wealth of information, and we can't thank you enough.
Thank you for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Well, folks, thank you so much for listening today and learning more about how to go green in Gloucester. We want to challenge you for the rest of April to practice making mindful choices when buying items at the store, recycling right, and by trying out composting or another green initiative. Be sure to check out the links in the description to learn more about the programs mentioned. We look forward to our next current conversation with Brett Major, Gloucester County's Emergency Services Coordinator, and Paul Cole to learn all about disaster preparedness and building safety.